What's up, everyone? My name is Garcia. I'm a men's barber here with TG. Today, I'm super excited to be working with my model, Kest. And on today's haircut, we're gonna be taking the inspiration based on structured layers. And what that means is we're gonna be working off 90 off the round of the head, keeping some strength and movement into Kest's haircut, as well as having a strong perimeter to get rid of all that split ends. So before getting started today on Kest's haircut, I'm gonna introduce you guys to the products that we used in the wash and care. We used Recovery, and what this was gonna allow us to do is bring all that hydration that his hair so needed, especially for his type of curl. It would eliminate a lot of that frizz and overall poof that you get. Prepping Jonah's hair today, we're gonna be using Ego Boost. It's gonna repair his split ends, and as well as gonna be a great working product to lock in that hydration that we need working off the wash and care. Today for Jonah's clipper portion of the haircut, we're gonna be working with a very simple graduation, starting from a 0, working our way up to a 1 guard. What that's gonna allow us to do is give him a nice tight fade on the sides. We're gonna keep a very natural edging in his hair. That would keep him obviously a lot of low maintenance and wouldn't have to keep coming back for that sharp edge up. Starting Kest's haircut with the 1 guard instead of directly going with the 0, it's gonna allow us to build a good base and keep that fade from running up. All right, so a quick tip, you wanna use a comb right at the partition line and bring your clipper right to that. What that's gonna allow is gonna give you a nice tight finish, and as well as gonna prevent you from biting into the existing long hair. Implementing the 0 line right now with the clipper, we wanna make points of keeping it to the low recession area and right behind the mastoid. What that's gonna do is gonna give me my points of references, so when I do it on the other side, it mirrors it equally. So switching over to our half guard, that's gonna give us a nice middle ground between the 0 that we have implemented and the 1 guard that we started our base with. That's gonna let us soften up this line when the fading comes through. If you notice that my clipper does not have a lever, that's not a big deal, it's personal preference, but I also believe that in barbering, you tend to use pressure sensitive situations. So the more pressure you apply on the clipper towards the scalp of the head, the more hair you'll take away. And vice versa, the less pressure you apply, the less hair you'll take, creating softer finishes. As well as the pivot on the clipper, the more you lay it down to the scalp, the harder lines you'll create, more tighter fades. And the more you elevate it from the side of the head, creating a more C curvature stroke, you'll create a more softer finish. So now for this final portion of this side of Kest's haircut, to remove this line, we're gonna use the clipper on a pivot point to really help soften that line and help it bust it out. So now to finish up the perimeter, we're gonna use our trimmer, and that's gonna give us our tightest edge and get rid of any last frizzy hairs that we might have there, and it's really gonna seal in that graduation. Now that we've finished this side of Kest's haircut, we're gonna move on to the opposite side using those reference points. All right, everybody, now that we've established this great looking fade on Kest, we're gonna be working up to our layering portion of the hair. We're gonna use a very easy sectioning pattern. We're gonna take a profile section, and then we're gonna take our radial section. It's gonna allow us to attack that perimeter. When we work with these type of curls, we need to keep the hair somewhat hydrated so it doesn't start to puff up on us as we work through it. So we're gonna be working with just a light trim on the perimeter. We're gonna be doing everything to a natural fall just to keep it where the curls live. We don't wanna add too much tension and have the curls spring back up. So we'll be using a wide tooth comb, and again, a very visual, natural fall perimeter. So now with our profile set in place, we're gonna be working with a more balanced style, and we're gonna be working from left to right. Combing those curls through, not adding too much tension, because again, we do wanna work with that natural movement of where the curls live. And give them a little tap to loosen them up, taking our cut. Establishing our body positioning is good. Holding in place. Working off that profile section, we're gonna establish our balance, and we're gonna be working from left to right. Again, combing through the curls very softly to keep them in their natural state. Make sure that everything's being pulled back and we're not rounding off the haircut. Once we've established that length on one side, we'll go ahead and move to the opposite side. So we use the ends, bring them together to make sure we're on the right track. So now that we've established our perimeter in the back, we're gonna be moving forward and off to the side of the head. And again, keeping everything very natural, soft. It's a natural fall. Give the curls a light tap. You wanna make sure, touch the curls, make sure it's everything where it belongs. Sometimes you wanna shift them a little bit to see what the movement is looking like. See if you're building up some weight, all right? So we wanna double check that perimeter, make sure we have a nice and strong perimeter going. Now we'll work to the opposite side. Making sure to take the corner that we built in when establishing the back perimeter into account, and that's what we're gonna be moving on forward with. Using the same method we use in the back to check for balance, bringing both ends together. We'll do the same now towards the front. Don't want to stretch the curl out too much. Everything looks fine. Scrunch them up a little bit to see if where they live is also balanced out. We're gonna reestablish our radial, and then we're gonna move on to our square layering pattern. Now working in the back, we're gonna establish our guide. With that guide, we're gonna work 90 and 90, meaning 90 elevation and 90 distribution with a pivoting section working forward. So using our guide, bringing it up 90, we're gonna let the perimeter fall off, and that's gonna help us not cut into our perimeter and establish where we need to cut. Now taking our first pivoting section, making sure we have some of our guide within that section so we don't use our position. And again, everything's 90-90. Making sure you comb out those ends. All right, guys, now moving forward with the next step, we're gonna be working with horizontal sectioning, keeping everything consistent with our 90 elevation and 90 distribution. Once we've reached this last section, we wanna take note and over-direct it slightly back. So now that we finished off this side of the head, we're gonna go ahead and mirror the same sectioning pattern on the opposite, keeping everything 90 and 90, and making sure it's off the round of the head. So for Kess's style out portion, we're gonna be using a number of products today. Our first product up is gonna be our Ego Boost. And our Ego Boost is gonna allow us to seal that cuticle as well as keep that hydration that we need in the hair. The next product up is gonna be our Manipulator. And this product is gonna be great because this is gonna be our hero product for this styling, and it's gonna allow that definition within the curls. Last product coming up is gonna be our Salty Not Sorry. And what this is gonna allow is gonna give it some of that texture and some of that body that his hair needs. So now that we've incorporated all of our products, we're gonna go ahead with the drying method. If you were at home, you could do this easily. You could either let it air dry or use a diffuser. For today's method, we're gonna go with the diffuser. We've already incorporated all our products in there. We diffused the hair. We left some moisture behind so it could build some of his natural texture in his hair. My name is Roger Garcia. This is my inspiration on the structured layers. Hope you guys had a blast today with me and Kess. And for more inspiration, visit bedhead.com.